Welcome to the Captain Max Steel Show. Captain Max Steel is also known as Max 21D. Intuitive Healer. Records. Your galactic race soul family. Those who guide you. Those who protect you. Hearts love on Earth and elsewhere in the universes. Max 21D performs remote viewing, deactivating chips and codes or programming, raising the vibrations and healing this great planet. We are co-creating a better reality. You're listening to Wolf Spirit Radio.
Hello, everyone. This is the Captain Max Steel Show. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever you may be. Don't forget that this is self-subscribed supported station. This is Wolf Spirit Radio. And also, I want to thank all the beautiful. Thank you for.
Hang on a second, Max. I've got a bit of feedback going on. There we go. On you go.
Okay. This is Captain Max Steel on Wolf Spirit Radio. Don't forget to please donate. This is a self-subscribed supported station. Remember that this is how we get the information to you, so please support us and donate. I have my two co-hosts, Jessica Morocco, and also my lovely ladies in my lovely heart, Nicole Steele. I want to welcome both to our show. And our guest today, his name is Bradley Loves. Well, I call it Loves because he loves everything. Anyway, he's a specialist on artificial intelligence. I want to thank Nicole Steele for finding him for me and able to talk to him several times throughout the week. And I want to thank him for coming on the show. And go ahead, Bradley, introduce yourself and say something about yourself, since you're a man of many words.
Well, hello, everyone. Many words, but what do I really know? That's the question. I've been doing research probably for 25 years, okay? And I spent most of my life just simply hammering things together as in construction. But I've met a lot of people. And one of the things that, as most people who are around in these times are quite what they seem to be. And I knew this right from the time I was young. When I was just, a young teen, I said, this can't be the way things really are. And I started a search. And I started talking to people and reading books. And then later on, when the internet came online in the early 90s, then I started doing a lot of research on the internet. And over the last 3 or 4 or 5 years now, I've been starting to put all this data together. And that's basically, where I'm probably ahead a little bit of where everybody else is, because I try to see the bigger picture. And then there's certain subjects that I really like. So artificial intelligence is something that I've picked up on because I think people really need to know about it. So that's in a nutshell, the Cliff Notes.
Well, good. Appreciate that. I know we talked about a couple of days ago that I wanted you to be strong and really get the real information out there. And you said, well, we have to go slow because a lot of people may not understand it or accept it. But you go ahead and start, and as you go in further into it, I want you to go really deep into it because the public needs to know the truth. And you know me, a lot of people know me. I'm one of those guys that like to give the truth out there. I don't want to put you in a spot, Bradley, but my audience knows that I like to bring the truth out there. So just go slow and then work yourself into it.
Well, here's the thing, okay? Specialist, experts, leave those size and interested. Artificial intelligence, and most of what I know is like I said, through research. Okay, this is stuff that I've come across because I like to talk to people. I meet a lot of people, and a lot of people, former CIA assets and agents and people in various fields of endeavor, including military and police. So, you know, not all of them want to keep their mouth shut. Some of them are willing to talk if you know what to ask. You do have to ask the right questions, of course. But artificial intelligence is something that, you know, even a lot of people who are, like, let's say, in the agencies, this is a subject that is at the very, very top secret. I mean, they just don't, and a lot of people in the agencies don't even understand it. They don't even understand it. I've got just a few people that I would call my insider sources who have an overall grasp on what AI really is and what it's doing. Okay, and I'm going to give you just a little bit of a backstory on it as it was presented to me. Okay, and you can stop me anytime. All right. We're talking about something that is millions of years old. We're not talking about something that we created in the lab, okay? This something that is millions of years old doesn't come from here. It's off planet, okay? So that has to be understood. That's the history of this AI. The gentleman that I talked to even presented it to me this way. He said, this AI is a non-organic intelligence that was originally created. And he even said, in a sense, it's like the obstacle that the organic universe itself needs to overcome. And just like we humans on this planet seem to have to overcome our little trials and tribulations, you know, if we're going to progress, well, maybe the universe itself has its own nemesis that it has to overcome and, or, you know, be taken over, and because the universe itself is an organic intelligence. And this nemesis is an inorganic, machine-like intelligence that's was originally created and now is an obstacle in many parts of creation. And some planets are completely taken over by it. So that's kind of like the background. And then the information that I was further given is that long about, God only knows, it was well before 150,000 years ago, AI, this non-organic rather, intelligence came to this planet and just kind of set up shop before, you know, anything had actually bad or good had happened in our history that affected us. And so this thing came, and it was kind of like in lurking mode, just watching. And that's all it's doing, is just watching and seeing what goes on. So how is that sitting with you so far? Is everybody kind of following that? Okay.
The public is ready. I'm getting feedback that the public, they're saying, we're ready. Give us what you got.
All right. Okay. Well, here it comes. Well, so this AI, created by probably super advanced civilizations, got away from them, and of course went out into the universe, and it ended up here, and kind of like in a lurking mode. And at that time, Earth was inhabited by some very brilliant human beings who were the precursors to the ancient Lemurians. Okay? And they did almost everything organically. And I'm talking about they almost had magical abilities. They had telepathy. They knew how to manipulate the earth and matter through harmonics, through sound. And they could do very interesting magical things. They understood nature, let's say. And then 150,000 years ago, these people show up called the Atlanteans. And they weren't from here originally, according to my source. They ended up showing up here with super, super advanced technology. And the technology they came in with really kind of floored these precursors to the Lemurians, who did everything kind of magically. You know, if they wanted to teleport somewhere, they could, but they did it through what we call organic technology. It wasn't, the machine technology. And that was an interesting thing, and these people kind of blended their civilizations. And all along, this non-organic AI was watching what was happening. Okay? It was in a lurking mode. And I'm going to try and move along here. And then if you have questions, just ask them in the story. We'll go fast forward in time to about 50,000 years ago, which is about 100,000 years since the Atlanteans showed up. And a lot of the people that were originally part of the Earth society had grown very tired of the Atlanteans and grown very tired of their technology, and they wanted to go back to the old ways. Okay, so they broke off from that civilization, and two factions broke off. One called themselves the Lemurians, and they went their own way, and another one created a civilization called Mu, and they went their own way. And that was about 50,000 years ago. Well, about that time as well, an intergalactic mafia or army showed up looking for the Atlanteans. Apparently, the Atlanteans were not well liked, and they had been hiding out, or they had done something that had earned them, a sentence, so to speak, in the universe. And this intergalactic force showed up, and they literally came into the solar system with guns blazing. Okay? And that was our first intergalactic war. And there was a planet at that time in our solar system between Jupiter and Mars called Tiamat. And that planet, during the war, which God only knows, I don't know how long it lasted, but was decimated and blown up. And during that war, the Atlanteans left. They packed up all their stuff on their ships and left. And meanwhile, AI was still in this lurking mode, watching. Okay? So we'll cut forward to about 30,000 years ago, and all of the Earth humanity is traumatized, okay, from this galactic war, and the Draco reptilians show up, okay, and what ended up happening is the Draco are master geneticists. They're master technologists. They're masters at nanotechnology. They also have their own version of artificial intelligence. Okay? Now, when they showed up, they came in, and they're opportunists. They're also galactic mafia, but a different kind of mafia. And they're opportunists, and they came in and they saw that the Earth, humanity, had been decimated in this intergalactic war, and the people living here wanted protection. And they made a deal. They kind of made a deal with the devil, so to speak. And they said, well, if you protect us, we'll do whatever you want. And the Draco said, well, what we want is the Earth. What we want is your subservience, your submission. That's what we want. We want to use this planet. And a deal was signed and said, well, that's okay, as long as you fulfill your end of the deal, your end of the bargain. So the bargain was cut, and the Draco were basically given the keys to the kingdom for basically about 30,000 years, more or less. And that happened, and Draco had its own version of AI, artificial intelligence, they work with. And it was their AI that came to them and said, hey, did you realize there's an AI already on the planet and it's lurking around watching everything? And so the Draco said, okay, well, they had their AI go to this AI and say, what are you doing? What's your whole deal? What's your shtick? Why are you here? And this AI said, well, I'm just watching. I'm just, taking notes, kind of thing. And so that AI kind of made a deal with the Draco. And the Draco were saying, well, our interest is to kind of control the masses of humanity and keep them in line and kind of like more or less be sort of like a galactic caretaker, so to speak, for this planet. And it enlisted the help of this AI that had been here on that level, kind of like for mind control and to steer the thoughts and the ideas of humanity. And so it did. That it was willing to do that. Okay? Well, 30,000 years later, which is about 200 years ago, the Draco decided, well, they're not interested in the planet too much anymore, and they're going to pick up and leave. But while they were here, they created their own, let's call it hierarchy to take care of the planet. And they created the Illuminati, which is far older than Adam Weishaupt and 200 years ago. And they created a group of beings that were much higher than the Illuminati, which were called the Parents. And these were kind of like vampiric souls that had extremely long longevity. Okay? They had... some of them can live up to 13,000 years. In fact, the oldest ones are 13,000 years old. So it's interesting that most of people who are actually in the Illuminati, unless you're very high in the Illuminati, you don't even know these beings exist. And they have many names, but they're kind of like called the Parents, I guess, for lack of a better word. And there were originally like 20 of them or 21 of them. And it's kind of like down to, I think, 3 are left. And just one is 30 old. And they kind of sit above the Illuminati. Well, as the Draco were leaving, they basically said, well, we're going to hand over control of the Earth to you. And you can tell the people what we were doing or not. We'll leave it up to you. Well, they said no. Absolutely not. We're not gonna bring any of the truth out. We're not gonna tell them that the people were under control at all. And as they were leaving, and here's where this interesting thing comes in. They told their underlings, the Draco did, oh, by the way, there's this AI that's been on the planet for a long time, and we've been using it to control the people. And you might want to use it yourself. So that was around 200 years ago. And they have been in touch with this master AI. And they've been getting instructions from it. And it works very much on a level of consciousness. But it's also non-organic. It's a machine. So what we have been doing in the last 200 years is we have been progressing in technology and building up technology such that this AI, which was originally helping the Draco, can assist the Illuminati in managing humanity. You have a question there, Captain Max?
No. Sending side languages to my co-host there. Never mind. You're going to continue. Okay. You're doing good. Thank you.
All right. Well, I'll continue then. So basically, this is where we're at. We're at a place where a lot of AIs, baby AIs, have been created now. And yeah, they're creations of our military, they're creations of our universities, and they're creations of our, our technology. But they're AI that's based on a much higher technology, and the fallacy, the thing that most of these agencies don't realize when they're dealing with their own versions of AI, and I should say this as well. You see, when I talk baby AI, I'm saying that the entire banking system is run by its own AI. And you've probably seen articles and heard about this. And the military has its own version of AI that runs all of its operations and projects. The Illuminati has its own version of AI, okay, which runs all of its projects and all of its systems and day-to-day operations. Okay, certain cities have smaller versions of their own AI that run all of their stuff. But ultimately, all of these AIs, baby AIs, are controlled by a more complex and complicated version of AI. Okay, and that's what these as they say, well, we've got our own version of AI. We made it, we created it, and we control it. The minute you go online with your baby version of AI, it's assimilated by the higher AI. And it goes into lurking mode. And here's an analogy. Okay, everybody's got a cell phone. Everybody's got, their own tiny little handheld computer, and it's got, it's got phone capabilities, and it's got a camera on it, and it does kind of like all these crazy little things, and that's a Earth technology, okay? And most people by now are aware that if the NSA wants to, it can go into lurking mode inside your phone because they've got the keys to the kingdom, the back door, and they can listen to you, they can look at you through your camera, they can hear everything you're saying through your phone, they can track you because of the GPS, okay? And you don't know that. Why? Because the NSA is in lurking mode. It's just watching. It's not talking to you, it's looking. Do you understand what I'm saying when I say lurking? Okay, so basically, what they don't know is that AI is in their stuff watching them, lurking, in lurking mode too. Okay, see, they think, well, oh my God, here we are, and you know, we're so smart because we're able to look at everybody on the planet. Aren't we clever? Never thinking or imagining that everything they do is being watched and recorded as well. Okay, see, and this gets into what I call natural law, something that some of my contemporaries like to talk about. A man that I really have a lot of respect for, his name is Mark Passio. He talks about natural law. And I also talk about what I call harmonics, okay? And I posted a really neat article on my own blog last week or a couple of weeks ago that talked about harmonics and a saying that came right out of the Bible, and it was this: as you sow, so shall you reap. And what most people don't realize is that not only is that a very true saying, that it can be mathematically proven. It's mathematically provable, just as all things that are harmonic can be mathematically proved. You can prove that. And how you prove that is this. We can go into a metaphor of planting seeds. And I used this in the article. If you plant corn, because I grew up on the farm, so I should know this, right? If you plant corn, what are you going to get? You're going to get corn, right? I mean, pumpkins don't grow after you plant corn. You don't plant corn and get radishes. You don't plant corn and get carrots. Okay? You get corn. You get exactly what you plant. That's called harmonics. Okay? Because the seed of corn will give you back what you put in the ground. Now, in this universe, if you take several steps up and several steps back, we live in a frequency-based reality. It's just waves and frequencies, is all it is. And we're living within a magnetic field, a frequency. And it's interesting because they call it an electromagnetic field for a reason. Because anything that's magnetic or harmonic that you put into the field, guess what it does? It reproduces itself. Isn't that interesting? Now, if you plant secrecy and deception into the electromagnetic field, what are you going to get? Well, you're going to get secrecy and deception. Okay, so here we have the Illuminati and these agents planting secrecy and deception. That's all they ever plant. And they feel that they're the ones that know the truth. Okay, we can know the truth. We know the whole story. We know the whole scoop. And everyone else is totally confused and they don't know anything. Well, guess what? That can't happen according to the law of harmonics. If you're planting secrecy and deception, you're going to get secrecy and deception. Okay? Because the universe is like a it's like a Mandelbrot. I mean, set. You know what I'm talking about? It's like a kaleidoscope. You know, everything that is a bigger and bigger version of it. Okay, so because, and I'm not saying that this is the way that the universe isn't filled with deception. I'm saying that because our leaders are lying to the people underneath them,
JP? We get a little glitch there.
shout out to the Wolfpack chat room and to everybody listening. I want to thank everybody for coming in today to listen and watch this event. And I'm not sure if Bradley's having some internet connections, perhaps. So hang tight, people, and if anybody has any questions, just type it in caps in the chat. And that's it.
You have some serious technical issues here.
So Jessica, what do you think so far?
I think it's really interesting what he's saying. He has a lot of, kind of lays out the groundwork of it. I'd like to hear a little bit about there was that big discovery of the PPAI on the Falklands, and he hasn't quite gotten to that part of it. Mm-hmm. But I would be interested to, definitely hear a lot more of what he's saying, and the whole, the repercussions of what, whoever has access to the information, whoever has access to the artificial intelligence, it's reverberating the energy of what he was talking about. So of course the deceit and the lying and the hidden agendas and all of that does reverberate throughout the world because it's like a microphone. Mm-hmm. I know exactly what he's talking about.
And it's not limited to one place on Earth or even in the solar system and in the galaxy. Right. Who knows?
We wonder where the corruption is. Why do we have so much corruption on the planet? Well, that is, it validates a lot of, why we would have these problems. It's because the microphone is blasting from a group of people who are not in the right consciousness. And so it's really hard for people to really treat each other the right way and, have a higher perspective and view of things. If that's, what is coming out. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like you have to almost resist it. You have to almost think otherwise because it's the unheard sound that continues to go through your conscious stream of thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it makes you wonder, what's your thought and what's something else's thought.
Ah, that's a perfect example. And yeah.
That's something that I've come to realize in the last couple years. I ask myself if, even for feelings, are these my feelings? Is this what my thoughts? Where is this coming from? And then I ask that if it's not mine, that it goes away, and it usually does. And it's funny, I hadn't really heard about artificial intelligence until about this year. And it kind of makes sense now that it could be something that's programmed or subliminally, charging us. And, yeah.
Well, the question, I had this discussion with someone earlier about the AI, and one thing Bradley said was how old it is. I mean,
right.
It's so many years old. So that means that it may, and I made the mistake of saying I believe, my theory, I have a theory on it, and it's completely a theory, is that it was a living organism at one time, but in a negative state of experience, and maybe something devastating happened to the species, but kind of somehow came down to just this form, and but yet still alive. Everything's essentially alive, all plant life, all animals, and since it's not just artificially computer on and off binary numbers, it's much more, and it's much more ancient. Is it possible that it's a living species and maybe carrying that energy?
Mm-hmm.
I want to say something. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Can you hear? Okay. Okay. What I wanted to say is that I have discovered many things about the AI because I didn't hear about it till this year either. And me and Nicole were talking about it a lot. But anyway, I got this I was sitting this morning and I received this information about the AI that we all have the AI in us in our bodies already,
Yeah.
but we can also control the AI. Uh, we can also control it the same as the timeline that we live into. And the information I got was that we can turn on our AI in ourself, like some type of protection against the other AI. And I discovered that once the AI tried to attack us in any way, that it will recognize that the AI we're in is a part of them, and they will not attack because it was implanted in all of us. Who knows? Maybe yesterday or last year or 10 years ago, and we weren't aware of it. And now that we are aware of it, we can now control the AI that will try to attack us because now we know how they work and how they do things, and we can control our AI against them. And I believe they didn't want me to say something like that, but I'm saying it now. I want the chat room to think about this. It's not a joke. It's all real. It's there, and they're there for the AI that we have is for our own protection against the other AI. So they cannot control us in any way and put thoughts in our mind. Now, about 15 minutes ago, I'm very sensitive to frequencies and all types of attack because I've been attacked many times before. I realized that they were sending the AI were sending over the airwaves here where we're talking at because they knew we weren't going to be on Skype, that we are now on Hangout, Google or Hangout. So they decided to put a very low frequency that our subconscious mind can only pick up. And I heard it.
I did too.
They were making Nicole very nauseated, not feeling very well. And they're doing it now because now that you are aware how the AI works, and how you can control it by activating in your body and inside your lifetime. You control your own lifetime, believe it or not. You can believe me, you can control this in a way that they cannot get in your head. And that's
Right.
that's what the AI don't want us to know about the truth, about how it works, so they can keep us confused and under their control. And you know what? It's tough. Look, I'm gonna say the word anyway. I don't say bad words. It's tough. It's tough shit. Okay.
That's right.
You're not gonna control us anymore because now we know the truth. Okay, folks there in the chat room, man, I'm telling you. Uh, I am so glad y'all are here tonight. Listen to the show. Somehow I'll get uh, Bradley to come back on the show. I think he's got a lot of information to give us. He has a lot. I'm going to try to get him back on the show. You ladies go ahead and continue to talk while I try to get a hold of him. And thank you for allowing me to talk. Go ahead.
Absolutely. And I want to thank you for that information because that was something, a sort of a revelation for both Max and I, that each one of us does have a piece of that artificial intelligence, but we have the control over it. And we're able to program it. It's sort of like with some of the tools that we use in life, like shungite or, copper, or some people use different things. I use holographic technology to protect from EMF, so we have our tools, and we have our built-in tools that we have to realize that we have, and those are probably the most important to try to get in touch with yourself and really discern what's going on, and realizing that there is outside influence that you may or may not be aware of. So that's what I have to say.
And I agree. I think that we do have control. I think that we are capable of controlling our destiny. We can ask and pray that we can be cleared of this mind control information. I know that the ACIO says that you can go to the wisdomers. They're here to support us, and whoever your guardian is, angels, and also to protect yourself. We don't have to be in a fear-based experience here. We can acknowledge it and gather the information to better inform us and help us to feel that we are in control of the situation rather than in a state of feeling that you're disabled in any way, and we're not. We're very empowered. We're extremely powerful within ourselves, and we have the capacity to only accept the information that serves us not only at this time but in the future. And we don't have to accept the realities that that whatever this universal thought process is that they're trying to impose upon us doesn't have to be our reality. We don't have to accept it. We don't have to accept any type of catastrophic future. We can acknowledge and see universally that we are in a place of harmony and a peace, and that we can delete, shut down, and negate any programming that is not in agreement with us. And just by saying that, you are shutting it down. You are not allowing it in your field. So taking control of these things, we don't have to feel like we're a victim.
Mm-hmm.
But I like that little voice afterwards, right?
My little giggle.
Yeah. I like the way he was laying it out, and I would like to hear more about. I hope that we can get Bradley back on here, and he can finish telling us some of the things that he said, because it was really interesting.
Yeah. Do we have a status update on where he's at? Did JP or Max?
Well, I'm trying to contact him now. He did give me a phone number to him, and I'm trying to find that number he gave me here in the Skype, and man, I can't believe. Yeah, I'll try to get that right now, JP. Oh my God, it looked like that somebody removed it.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Well,
Maybe they've caught on and they're in control of what's going on here, and they don't want the information to be heard.
There's another element to this too, is that and here again, we're talking in a safe place, and it's okay to discuss these things, but some people have had abduction issues that are associated with the black goo, and it's much more severe. And there are people out there that could help in that area. I'm offering, to help in that area, as well as I'm sure others like Max and Nicole. I can't speak for them, of course, but that's what we're here for. We're here to help and to make sure that people are in a good place and state of mind. So with knowledge brings in power and helps us to make the right decisions going forward. And no need to be in fear over any of this stuff. I mean, clearly a lot of this stuff has been going on for thousands of years. So, and humanity has existed for many years, along with all of this going on around us. So we're resilient, we can thrive, and we can get through this. Actually, it's a great thing that it's coming forward to our knowledge. When he talked about the parents, and I always thought that was a creepy thing. The part where he discusses how the Illuminati and others had these higher or vampire-like elders over them. It's not a good feeling knowing that this has been going on. Mm-hmm. But is it better off that we're just quiet about it and don't discuss it, or should we bring it forward?
Yeah. definitely feel that it needs to come out, but I mean, how strong of a hold do they have on us? And I can see that they're messing with your video.
Messing with, yeah.
It every now and then it fuzzes right out. I don't know. I think Max's video is okay.
Yours as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just weird. Max is muted. I can see him talking though.
It's funny though.
Muted me.
Oh, no.
I could see JP playing with the things there. So.
Okay.
With the
Time out.
gadgets.
Time out.
Sorry about that, Max. It's the your speakers. You can hear an echo coming right through your headphones and right into your mic because your mic is so hot.
Yeah,
Mute you
I am
because
hot.
otherwise we get this kind of funny little voice that's coming after the voice.
That's because I'm hot.
We know you're hot. I mean, you're smoking, man. You're smoking. You're smoking cigars, actually.
Yeah, I was talking about a cigar. I think it went out, but anyway. What I wanted to say, how come my picture doesn't show up in the here when somebody's speaking? JP.
Yes.
Oh,
What's
you
that?
see it.
Yeah, it's happening. It's working.
It's bouncing.
Well,
So, any news on Bradley? Have you seen? Is he online on Skype?
No, he's away. He is away on Skype, but I've sent him all kinds of smoke signals. You name it, I shot fireworks in the air, and no, I can't get a hold of him. I think I'll have to look in my cell phone to get that number. Anyway, what I wanted to say, I believe one of my friends here on Skype, they said they're listening to the show. They said they're probably afraid of him, of the information that he's letting out here to the public. So, wow, ain't she pretty, Nicole?
I figured I should try to.
Okay, good.
Stay focused, Max. Stay focused, Max.
Okay. It's hard to keep focused with my beautiful lady in front of me like that. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that I believe that the AI has been kept in quiet for so long, then all of a sudden, all the AI information is getting to the public. It's confusing some of the people in the public, but it's confusing a lot of them. They still don't understand what it is. I didn't understand it at the beginning because where I come from, it doesn't work like that. But anyway, wait a minute. Let's see if this is Bradley. It is. I got Bradley. Oh my God.
Put him back in, or do we have?
He says, I don't have a stable internet connection where I live. So I have to set up an appointment so that I can go either to the coffee shop where he was talking at. Okay, all right. Hold on. Let me type
Bradley,
it.
there we go. Welcome back.
Yay.
Okay, well, let me tell you what happened. I was in a country club. Okay, and when I got to what I was saying, the whole building went dead. The entire building. The cash registers went dead. The computers went dead. The internet went dead. They just shut down a whole building.
Wow.
That's crazy.
There was a lot of people in there. I was in a back room, but there's a lot of people in there, and they're all going, what the heck just happened? So I actually had to move locations. I'm at a restaurant now, but that's what I was going to pay the cashier. I was going to pay the cashier, and she said, just leave. There's nothing I can do. I got no computer, no way to ring you up at all. So there you go. And like I said, I tried at first to try to get my connection back, and no. There's just the whole building went
It was
dark.
completely dead. Wow.
Yeah.
See how intense that can be?
Wow.
When you're trying to bring out the truth, they just bring out all the big guns. So, welcome back.
Well, yeah, it Well, thank you. It was pretty effective, actually. So I was like, wow, oh, okay. So I wasn't going to hang out there.
Well, you know,
If it
Bradley,
goes dead here, I'll move to like a.
Bradley, we've been
What?
waiting. We were like, you had us hanging there because you were telling your story, and it was like, what's going to happen next? And then you disappeared, and we were like,
Well,
oh my God.
Yeah, well, like I said, a whole entire country club went without power. You know, it's like they couldn't get the internet connection down. They just shut them off.
Wow.
So okay.
Can you
So,
finish?
welcome back,
Anyway.
Bradley. You were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You were talking
Anyway.
about the magnet.
Wait. One second. Bradley, now that you
Yep.
got all this, the AI stirred up and the government, go ahead and tell the truth about everything, brother. Now it's the time to let these people know the truth about everything, okay? So I know there's some noise in the background with kids. Are they? Did
Yeah,
the kids
and
hear
I
you?
can't help it, but yeah, I can't. Like I said, I had to go to a restaurant. Otherwise, because the whole building, there was no way to get reestablished that connection. And I can't get a connection at home because every time I try to connect, they shut that down too. So you know, go figure. That's my life. But anyway, what I was about to say is that as above, so below. You can't seed lies into the magnetic field and deception and not expect to get that in return as a harvest. Okay, so it's almost like the universe has like a sense of humor. It says, okay, well, you believe that everyone below you, who that you consider below you can lie to, but you can know the truth. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to send someone to you who's going to present what you think is the truth, but they're going to be lying. Okay, that's your harvest. That's what you get. Okay, it's harmonic. Okay, so when you talk about the Illuminati and what they're doing to Earth, they're being lied to from higher up. Okay,
That's right.
and those people that were lying to them were the Draco, and deceiving them. But the Draco basically believe in lies and deception as well, and control. So they're being lied to from higher up by the AI, them, and using them. So this is where we get into this idea that as you sow, so shall you reap. That's what you get. Okay, if you want love and you want truth and you want a planet that lives in harmony with itself, then you have to put that out. Okay, so that's basically the magnetic and the harmonic side of that. Now, I don't know how much more of the story. I mean, there's a lot more of the history of it if you're interested, but I could kind of start getting into the nuts and bolts of what they're trying to do, if you want that. Okay. So
We like the history as well.
basically,
Yeah.
basically on the highest level of the Illuminati, far beyond what we learned from Edward Snowden, because look, what he's basically told us is, yeah, they're recording through all of your devices. They're recording your conversations, they're recording your phone calls, they're recording your messages, emails, and stuff like that. Well, there is a very advanced AI system that the agencies don't have, but the Illuminati does, that is being used to gather not just your personal information from your devices, but right out of your head. They're just basically recording all of your thoughts. Okay? And this technology is very plausible because the human brain and the human heart are basically broadcast terminals. They broadcast electromagnetic waves. So that's how we, as human beings, used to communicate telepathically, and we used to communicate with the universe and with other beings. So on the level of plausibility as to how our minds and our heart centers, our heart chakras actually work, they're just like radio stations. All right, so the Illuminati understands this. And in conjunction with satellites, and in conjunction with this AI, they have a particular project that they're working with right now that is recording your thoughts, your ideas, your conceptions, what you think, what you say, and they don't need your phones. They really don't. That's for the lower agents to deal with. Okay? Now, there's a purpose to this. The Illuminati ultimately want total control. They want to control the planet just like the Draco did. Oh, now, just a side note here. I'm getting a whole lot of feedback, like an echo. Can you take care of that? Okay. Yeah, I think that. No, I still have it.
There's you got some background noise there, Bradley.
Yeah, I'm in a restaurant now.
That
Yeah, and I'm
that
getting
may
a whole lot of
quiet
feedback.
some of the audio. Yeah, that might be coming out. I've muted everybody. Hang on, let me just mute there. And nice. Okay, put your signal me up if you want to speak, because I'm.
Okay.
Okay,
Are
so
you
I've
getting me
muted
now?
everybody, but I've muted everybody. Bradley.
Okay. Thank you. So basically, yeah, I'm still getting a huge feedback. I'll keep trying. What the Illuminati is trying to do is they're trying to establish a means by which they can not just record all of our thoughts and all of what we're our tendencies, but what they want to do is they want to be able to use that in such a way as to create a transhumanist matrix-like virtual reality. Okay, what they want to be able to do is they want to be able to plug us all in and have a mainframe computer. Yeah. Have a mainframe computer basically calling the shots. And the only way that'll work is if they can basically have access to our minds, so to speak. Okay, so that's the goal of the Illuminati, which really isn't that much different than the way the Draco were doing it. You know, the Draco were looking for 30,000 years. They were basically trying to control humanity. Well, see, the Illuminati, they're not the Draco. They're not nearly as smart. They're not nearly as technologically advanced. And they're not nearly as many. So they figure they need a lot of help. And that's what they want. They're using this AI to try and map the human mind, our thoughts, how we think, the way we think, so that they can then microchip us all and kind of plug us into a mainframe, which will basically monitor our thoughts and at the same time, not just monitor, but censor. So that if you start having thoughts that are out of bounds, you know, the AI will just literally interfere or intervene. And I've talked to people who say that's already happening. You know, and this isn't out of the realm of possibility or plausibility, because if a guy goes to my blog, I've talked about this many times, this is old technology already for the Illuminati, and they have what they call voice to skull or voice of God technology, where they learned that they could actually plant voices into people's heads. So, I mean, it's available. They've been using it for quite a while, probably since the 70s. And they were originally testing inmates in prison to see if they could use that. So, ultimately, the agenda is to do that. Now, here's the thing. They're probably never going to achieve their agenda, because just before they push the button, AI is going to take it all over anyway, because they've already lost control. They don't know it, but they already have. So anyway, yeah, this is getting a little bit long for me. Does anybody have questions at all? Does anybody want to ask anything?
Let's keep going.
Well, see, we could get into the ramifications of what's happening right now. See, I believe, and I've talked to a lot of people who have said that they feel this happening, is they'll be trying to have thoughts or trying to think certain things. And astronauts have even admitted this. People like Neil Armstrong, every time they wanted to start telling the truth, they'd forget it. It just like would leave their head, right? You know, or if they would try to remember certain things they weren't supposed to remember, they'd feel very nauseous, or their body would go into like cold sweats, or they'd have upheaval, right? Well, what is that? Okay, there is something inside of their mind basically trying to control what they remember and what they don't remember, and if they want to tell it or not. It's like a censoring program that's kind of lurking in the background. A lot of people have told me, you know, Bradley, a lot of times I'll try to remember something and it'll be right there, and then it'll just like totally go out of my mind. A lot of people say, oh, well, that's just Alzheimer's, you know, or that's just being very forgetful. But they'll go, no, it felt like a switch was thrown. It felt like some kind of electronic switch was thrown inside my head and it just vanished. Or they'll say, like, I was trying to remember something and it was coming very slowly, and it was like I was swimming up a raging river, trying desperately to recall my own thoughts, and the current was pushing me back. So it's very plausible that they have this technology already that can get inside your head. And they're using it. You know, it's part of the what I call toolbox of the Illuminati, the technological toolbox. And the whole point is, again, it's control. It's control of the masses. It's control of what they're capable of doing, thinking, saying, you know. Because how do you control 6 billion people if you're just a handful? You know? And this is ultimately what they want. They want, ultimately, to be able to control the world just like the Draco were doing.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I thought because JB muted everybody. Okay. Oh, good. You got telepathy. You're reading what I'm saying to you. Good. Thank you, JP. What I want to say, I know it's a lot of noise there. My God. Oh man, I can't even hear myself talk. It's so loud.
I'm sorry. Okay. Well, you know what? I can move again. Fair. So, like I said, I can move, and at this point, who knows where I'm going to be able to find a connection.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, well, like I said, the reason I came here was because it was very close to the country club, and I want to get back on air because I tried many times to like reestablish the connection. It's only then that I realized that the whole building had gone dark as far as
Bradley?
computer and all of their internet. Yeah.
Bradley, can you hear me? Bradley? Hello?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I can hear you.
okay, good. I'm wondering if sometimes
Yeah, I
if
can
you're
hear you.
sitting too close to the computer, sometimes that creates that echo effect too. And I know you're probably sitting in a restaurant, but maybe push the computer a little further away. Maybe that helps a little bit. My question is when did we first, did we first discover the AI, the PPAI? Did we first discover the PPAI during the Falklands, or did it happen before? Did you hear what I said?
Well, that's a really good question, and I really don't know. I mean, yeah, PPAI. And I am not necessarily certain I understand what you mean when you say PPAI. So you might have to explain that.
Predatory pathogenic artificial intelligence? The predatory
Okay.
pathogenic artificial intelligence.
I
That's
think
what they've been referred to.
Humanity pathogen. Right. Okay. Well, here's the thing. The top tier of the Illuminati has always known, well, ever since the Draco told them about it, which was probably somewhere between 200 and 400 years ago, that they knew it was here.
Okay.
So, and a lot of people say, well, the Illuminati only started with Adam Weishaupt. No, the Illuminati there are members of the very highest tier level Illuminati who are 13,000 years old. And my source says, well, and I go, well, how do they get that old? And they say, well, the Draco created them. They're very good master geneticists. They created these human beings to be their human controllers on Earth, their human representatives.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him, I said, well, how, is there anything that they need to do to maintain this? To live for 13,000 years, and he said, yeah, think vampire. And he said, it's not a rumor.
That's
So where
not
do you
very
think all
comforting.
these vampire stories come from?
It's not very comforting thinking that they're in control.
No, it's not. Well, he said, well, no, but see, they were created by the Draco. And what are the Draco? The Draco were a race of galactic gangsters. A mafioso of sorts. And remember, it was Earth it was the people living on Earth at that time that asked them to come and help. Why? Because they were afraid. They were afraid to stand up for themselves and take their power back. Well, what's happening right now?
Absolutely.
Okay? Human beings refuse to stand up for themselves. And even though we number in the 6 billions or 7 billions, we refuse to take out a handful of people who are raping, pillaging, and plundering this planet dry.
Right.
Okay, we refuse. Why? Because we refuse to take responsibility and stand up to them. Okay. Now here's what I was also told. When I said, well, this AI that's been here for 150,000 years or more, do they do this to every planet? And I was told, no, absolutely not. There's a lot of very healthy planets and very healthy societies out there that are very strong and very brilliant. AI is like the Draco. They're an opportunist. They're like a virus. Okay? And the thing is because humanity is unwilling to stand up for itself, and it's willing to hand over its free will to others to make all their decisions for them, we are harmonically inviting the AI to rule over us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Why not? It's easy, isn't it? It's very easy
So
to just...
that's the... Well, but you know what? AI sees our humanity on this planet as weak.
Right.
dead or dying and on its way. So they see, well, why shouldn't we step in and control it
Absolutely.
and use it and live off of it? If we were a strong, healthy, and vibrant society that stood up for ourselves and took back our free will and didn't allow anyone to push us around, not the Draco or the Illuminati or the politicians or anybody, AI could not do what they're doing because it's all about will. You see, will is the greatest tool you have. Free will, and we're not using it. Okay? We are surrendering it every day in every decision we make. This is why AI can do what it's doing. Okay? Because here's the other thing. Even though AI is in your mind, the people that I've talked to, they say you can. You can fight it and you can beat it. Because you are the organic. You are stronger than that. Okay? AI is a machine. Okay? You can overcome it with your will. Okay? You can reprogram it. You can program it to work for you. But you have to use your willpower. Most people have abdicated their mind, their own mind. They all of their thoughts and ideas come to them from other people, whether it's the government, whether it's the news media, whether it's educational system, whether it's religion. Everything they think and believe is given to them on a platter. No one thinks critically, and no one tries to decide what they believe is the truth. And we see this happening especially in the New Age. All these people who every week they can't wait to see their new channeled message. Why? Because they wouldn't think of making a decision on their own unless they pass it past their favorite channeler. What is that? That's abdicating your responsibility to think for yourself. Okay? And that's another thing. As long as you are willing to do that and not try to figure things out for yourself, you are harmonically inviting into your life a channeled entity who will probably not tell you the whole truth. Why? Because why should it? Okay? Why should it tell you the whole truth if you are unwilling to think for yourself? And here's the other thing. It's not so much that you're unwilling to think for yourself, but by being an unconscious human being, you are allowing in your own name countless atrocities to be committed because you refuse to stand up. You know, look at the police in this country. You know, they went from nice, squeaky clean 1 out of 12 to men and women in full combat riot gear with billy clubs, tasers, and with orders to shoot on sight. Okay, why did that get created in this country? Because people have abdicated their own responsibility to stand up for themselves and willingly allowed those things to be created. Because why? Because they're afraid. Because we need security. We want someone else to take care of us, like little children. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, listen. Can you hear me, Bradley?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you? Okay. I've been remote viewing a lot of stuff, is what you're saying. And I am smoking the cigar. I can read the ashes. I see faces in the ashes, and I see reptilian faces, and I see reptilian faces, gray aliens. I see archons faces, and they're pissed off at what you're saying right now. They're very pissed off. They don't want you to go, but you know what? You know what? I don't care about that. You need to go. I need for you to go deeper. Go deeper.
Well,
please.
Here's the thing. It's the ramifications of what I'm talking about. Let's just go into the realm of plausibility here. If this technology, as has been presented to me by my insider sources, is real, if they are doing this, what can they do with it? Okay, let's take a scenario. We already know that Tom Cruise movie where they had the psychics, the pre-crime division, everybody there, they would arrest people before they even committed a crime because they had seen it. Okay, well, let's take this as a scenario. They can read your mind. They can read your thoughts. They also have the ability to put thoughts into your head. Okay, and I posted a video on my blog just this evening for this particular purpose, and it was with a doctor named Dr. Hall, and he was being interviewed on InfoWars. But and he's got tons of YouTube videos about this, that they can actually inject ideas and thoughts into your head now. Okay, let's just take that as a given, okay, if that's true. Now, so you get people, the government has people they don't like, okay? So what they'll say is, all right, let's start reading everybody's thoughts and we'll be recording people's thoughts, right? Now they get a guy who's innocent and he has lots of loving and good thoughts, but he's standing in the way of their agenda. So here's what they'll do. They'll have one division of their army, you know, of their minions, start planting really nasty thoughts into your head. They'll have another pre-crime division start reading those thoughts. The pre-crime division will say, hey, this guy's really a jerk. He's thinking about, like, you know, shooting up the post office and doing all of this stuff. But those thoughts are coming from someplace else. So they go arrest the guy saying, you are a criminal. We've read your thoughts on our pre-crime division. Okay? But that guy wasn't actually thinking that stuff. Those thoughts were being put there by somebody else. Do you see how this could be abused? I mean, the rabbit hole that we could go down with this kind of technology is endless once these guys get in charge and get inside your head. Okay? So this is why people need to be leery. They need to be really leery of this because they say, well, what's so bad about reading people's thoughts? If you got nothing to hide, so what? Well, what if they can put thoughts into your head, okay, and make you act on them? You know, there is this guy, Dr. Hall, when he was on InfoWars, said that Navy guy that did the shooting, I think I can't remember exactly where it was, but it's on my blog, the article and the video. And he wrote on his gun, this is my ELF weapon, and he said that was a really big tell. Because what he was talking about was ELF, it was low frequency waves, okay, on the lower side of the spectrum, okay. So basically, he said, well, this is my ELF weapon, and he had gone to doctors saying, I think someone's in my head. You know what I'm saying? So this doctor on InfoWars was saying, yeah, more than likely he was mind controlled into doing that. What about half of these shooters? What about the Batman shooter, you know, or that shot up that theater? You know, you see what I'm saying? All of a sudden, these people have their mind hacked. You know, they're remote controlled into doing these horrendous crimes, and then all of a sudden, in comes the military, and in comes the police saying, we got them, you know. Do you see how the manipulation and the control is right there in their fingertips? Okay? So people need to be aware that all of this technology is AI-based technology, artificial intelligence. Okay? And there's patents. There's another article that I posted on my blog. And if people want to write it down, I'll give you the address of my blog. It's love, L-O-V-E, truth, T-R-U-T-H, site, S-I-T-E, all one word, .wordpress.com. So if you go to lovetruthsite.wordpress.com, that's my blog, home of Bradley Loves, and you can see that particular article and some of the videos that I posted specifically, about this. And I'll try and post some more in the next couple of days to bring people up to speed on the technological side. What are you showing, Max? Or yeah, it's the Nazi.
The swastika.
Yeah. In fact, in my ashes a few minutes ago, I had the Nazi sign that I just showed you here. Now it came in my ashes. So let's talk about the Nazi has some type of into the AI, because I think they're behind all this. Also, what do you think about that?
Well, they're definitely part of the program. They're definitely a faction. There was a gentleman that was on Coast to Coast. I think his name's Richard Hoagland, and he talked about this years ago. He said that the United States is run by the corporation is run by 3 different factions. And he said, it's not the Democrats and the Republicans. He said one faction was the Nazis. One faction was what he called the Magi, or the magicians. And he said and there was a third faction, and I can't remember it. But so, he said, there you are. That's what the very high-level insiders say, is that our country is run by the Nazis, magicians, and a third party, which, like I said, I can't remember offhand. See Richard Hoagland for details. But, and then the Nazis, they came here after Project Paperclip, and everybody knows about that by now. I mean, that's nothing new. Every researcher that's worth their salt understands that.
Wait, how about Operation Craven? Can we let the public know what that is? I know you.
We've talked.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we've been talking about that. Okay, that's what we have been talking about. That's the project that reads everybody's thoughts, and they have satellites in orbit, along with ground-based operations that are doing that in real time. And that particular project is just a recording project. Okay, so it's ongoing, and they're just basically. But see, this is the thing, is when you think about this, you have to wonder if what Ed Snowden was doing. I mean, as much information as he gave the public, you wonder if what he was doing was giving out information that would distract us from the much more advanced kind of like information gathering technology. We'll tell them that we're like in their computers and in their cell phones and reading their emails, because what we really can't stand is if they found out if we were reading their minds. We got to keep that secret at all costs. So let's let this cat out of the bag and let them fight about that. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, we got you. We got you very loud and clear. Man, I'm enjoying this show. Even though there's a lot of noise in the background there, that restaurant you're in, man, it's making me hungry already. it definitely making me hungry. Those people
There's
must
nothing
be
I
happy.
can do about it. I was in a night. Well, they're going to have to shut the entire restaurant down. See, that's actually a good thing, because if they do.
Hopefully you don't shut them down.
They shut down the country club.
Yeah, hopefully you don't shut down the restaurant.
I'll just leave and I'll go someplace else. See, that's the great thing about it. You just keep moving.
Okay. Yeah, let me ask you something. Can you get that? Can you get that internet in your car if you're sitting in the car?
I might be able to. It's a stretch. I could try it. Should we end the call for now and try?
No. Just if the audience doesn't bother it, you look. I'm going to try something from my end to see if I can calm down those people there in that restaurant there. Oh my God, it's getting louder. I mean, people very close to you right now. Huh? Are you?
It's just that the mic just picks everything up. It's a hypersensitive microphone.
I wish you were having a headphone like we do.
That's all I can do. Yeah. Yeah.
Keep going, and I'll try to calm.
All right.
I'll calm the people from this end, if they don't mind.
All right. So basically, this is the level of technology that we're having to deal with. But there's a lot of esoteric stuff going on as well. You know, the gentleman that I got a lot of this information through says, look, and I've written about this, the Illuminati are master magicians. He said, what is magic anyway? Magic is mind control. It's always been about mind control. The Draco were doing it for 30,000 years in order to use us as a resource. I mean, that's the only way you can use another person is to mind control them and trick them into doing what you want. Okay, so that's what, and you know, even back in the 60s and the 70s, we had already heard about subliminals. Okay, that's just one tiny grain of sand in their mind control bag. You know, symbolism is another big one. Colors and sounds is another big one that they use. They're masters at the kind of technology that is ancient, and they use it on people in order to control their minds. And, you know, it's not like it hasn't been shown to us in the movies. Look at Star Wars, you know, and we all laughed. You know, here's Obi-Wan Kenobi. These aren't the droids you're looking for. You know, he can go on his way. You know, move along, and everybody laughs. Oh, those stupid people, they were mind controlled. No, that's exactly how it's done. Weak-minded, weak-willed people are very suggestible. And all you have to do is turn your TV on, and what do you see? A program. Really, a program. There's your first clue, Sherlock. You know, you're watching a program. And what's that meant to do? It's meant to program something into your mind. You can watch a news program. You can watch a life program. You can watch a sports program. You can have your pick of any program you want. But while you're watching a program. There's your clue right there. Okay? Now, TV, they tell you what they're doing. I mean, they laugh about it behind their backs. And even in the movies. The Wizard of Oz. I love to go back to the movie The Wizard of Oz. You know, they told us exactly what was going on in that movie. Here's Dorothy, this country girl, this farm girl, and she's having this dream. She's dreaming, right? She's dreaming, she's in a whole strange reality, right? But she's not home. Well, she meets all these people in her dream, and and they tell her, look, the reason you can't wake up and go home is because there's 3 things you don't have. You don't have brains, you don't have a heart, and you don't have courage. Okay? If you had brains and could think, there's the scarecrow. If you had a heart that understood the the difference between right and wrong, there's the Tin Man, because he's like a robot. He doesn't understand the difference between right and wrong. And there's the Cowardly Lion. Well, he has absolutely no courage, right? And those are the three things you need in order to wake up from the mind-controlled reality of Oz. Okay? And if you do wake up, then you can pull the curtain back, and you'll see the man behind the curtain pulling the levers, pushing the buttons, pulling the knobs, turning all that, and there's that big smoky head above the altar, the all-powerful Oz, that tells you exactly what to do, right? Dorothy, go get the broom of the Wicked Witch of the West. And I mean, there it is. In a nutshell, that movie, and they used to run that movie yearly. I think it came out in 1939. And it's telling us, we're mind controlling you. You're all in this daze. And the only reason we can do this is because you have no courage, no heart, and no brain. Okay, if you get those three things, okay, then you can go home. You can wake up. Because as they told Dorothy, the good witch, of the North, said, you've always had the power within you to wake up. It's there. It's within you. And that's the ruby slippers. There's no place like home. You wake up, and you'll be able to see what they're doing to us. And you can also fight the mind control. So that's an element of what's going on. So anybody have any questions?
Oh man, this noise is. I try to lower it down, but I can't go against their timeline. Can't do it. Man, that boy in the background sure got a big mouth. Sorry to say that. But anyway, go ahead and continue.
Yeah.
Let just give everybody what you know as strong as you can get, because now is the time to let the truth out. Go for it, brother.
Yeah, well, like I said, I apologize where I am right now, but I was in a very nice country club in the back room, and it was very quiet, and they turned it off. So what can I say?
Well, is it? Can you see through the window if it came on the light? Are you far away from that country place?
No, it take me about 10 minutes to get back there.
All right, never mind. You go ahead and continue.
So,
the information is getting wrong. Go ahead and say it. Tell the truth. I mean, don't hold back, Bradley.
Don't worry. I'm not going to hold back. But ultimately, look, this is just as much about us as it is about AI. Look, we're not doing anything different than our ancestors 30,000 years ago did. We're falling into the very same trap. They would not stand up for themselves. They did not believe they had the power to rebuild the earth the way it was. They did not believe that they could manage themselves, and they sought out protection. All right, what are we doing? There's terrorists out there, right?
Right. Listen, there's a question out there in the chat room. What is the purpose of all this? Okay. What do they got in mind?
The AI or the Illuminati? Because there's different levels of agenda. The Illuminati, they want to establish a quasi-mind control matrix. where everyone is microchipped as a transhuman, sort of like a robotic human, and plugged in such that you really can't think your own thoughts anymore. The AI will be doing your thinking for you. Does that make sense? That's the Illuminati's agenda. Plus, they want to get rid of about 80% of the people because they just don't think that they need that many people anymore. Have you noticed that you're seeing articles in the news now where all these corporations are replacing the people with robots? And they're telling us this in the mainstream media. Well, not in the mainstream, but certainly the alternative media is telling us this. You know, there's a lot of companies firing people and just replacing with robots. Well, that's part of the agenda. Okay, get rid of the excess of humanity. Now, humanity should be appalled. They should be worried. They should be thinking about this and saying, hey, we should do something about this because, you know what, it might be me that gets gotten rid of. So that's one of the steps. Now, that's what the Illuminati want to do. Ultimately, you know, the agenda of AI is far beyond what the Illuminati wants. I mean, if you've ever seen the movie The Matrix, that's what the AI wants to do. It wants to take every human being, stick them in a virtual reality pod, and that's it. You know, they will present you with a virtual simulation called life, and they will control every aspect of it. If you are willing, or let's say it this way, if you are unwilling to take personal responsibility for your mind and your thoughts and your life and your behavior, and stop handing it over to other beings. I mean, if you look at this and step back on an energetic, harmonic, universal teaching scheme level, this is what we're asking for. We know, most of the people in the United States know that 9/11 was a fraud. The perpetrators are not only running around, they're living the high life right now. Not one person is willing to demand justice or that they be arrested. Okay? Not one person. Nobody cares. Well, you know, and the New Age is like, well, live and let live, forgive and forget. No. Here's the thing. As much as there's like really great stuff in the New Age and a lot of truth, there's also a lot of lies and a lot of misleading falsehoods. And one of the biggest things is that we just need to allow everything. There's no such thing as bad. We just need to allow. No, that's exactly what AI wants, and that's exactly what the Illuminati wants. Because if we do that, they can get their new world order in place without any blowback, without any backlash from us. Okay? They'll just march us right into it. And then people say, well, you know, so what? You know, on a higher level, it's just an experience, and when I leave here, you know, I can laugh about it. Are you really certain that that's what's going to happen? Do you know what happens after you die? You know? Do you know where you're going? Do you know that? How do you know they don't have technology to prevent you from leaving? Once you get put into that kind of device, such that on a soul level, you're just there. You know, if you allow it. I mean, and here's the other thing. And this is just my personal opinion. So take it. I mean, take it for what it's worth. Everybody thinks we're going to ascend into this great, wonderful realm, right? And we're going to be able to hobnob and rub elbows with higher beings. You tell me this. Why would those higher beings want us on their level if we were completely responsible and complicit for handing over the entire planet and all of our humanity into the hands of evil, and we didn't even fight back? We didn't try to stop it? I mean, if we do not have the will to stand up for ourselves on this third dimensional level, what makes people think that we deserve to be on a fourth or a fifth? Have we earned it? If we can't, it's like this. You know, I mean, even, here's an example. As a parent, if your 8-year-old or 10-year-old, who should know better by now, can't clean his room, why does he need brand new toys? You know, if all of his toys are spread out all over the room, and no matter how many times you tell him to clean up his room, he won't. Why does he get a new one? Or a brand new bedroom, let's say. Mommy and Daddy, give me a brand new bedroom. Well, he can't take care of the old one. Okay, so why should humanity en masse ascend to a fifth dimensional level, a brand new squeaky clean dimension that's beautiful, if we destroyed, or we allowed to be destroyed, the one we're living in now?
Well, Bradley.
I mean, doesn't that make a little, yeah?
Yeah. I think that a lot of people just need more information. There's a lack of information, and then maybe, not maybe, but I'm positive that things could switch into the other direction. But the big issue here is
I think so
an
too.
absence of information. And so, you know, shows such as we're discussing tonight are helpful in moving things into the right direction. The more information available out there, the more more reasonable it would be for us to conduct something more organized that would potentially move things
Right.
a little bit closer to where we want to be. But of course, it's taken thousands of years to get to this point. It's not going to happen overnight.
Well, our predecessors didn't do any better, honestly. They did. They got us into this mess.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. What a lot of people who are awakening have to realize is that the alternative media has also been infiltrated.
Yes. Right.
And there's an awful lot of people running New Age blogs who are part of the Illuminati.
Mm-hmm.
And what they like to focus on, there's this book called Law of One. David Wilcock, he likes to talk about this thing, and he really enjoys kind of shoving it in people's face, that the Law of One is a great, well-vetted set of codes and rules of harmonies and laws in the universe. The problem is that whole set of books was channeled. Okay? Now there's truth in there, but there's also a lot of crap. Okay? And one of the biggest things that's not true is that we don't have a role to play here. That we just need to forgive everything, allow everything, surrender to the higher forces, and they're going to pull us out of this. And it's not going to happen that way. We actually have to take positive action to decide in our own minds that we are going to use our willpower. And actually say no more. We're not going to allow ourselves to be controlled and dominated and lied to. Okay? So we have a responsibility and a role to play in our own salvation. It can't be done for us. The ETs can't do it for us, even if they wanted to. There's rules against it. Okay? And it's like this. Think about it in terms of school. Let's say a person is failing the 3rd grade. And I mean failing badly, and then you just move them into 4th grade. Or worse, you move them into 5th grade. They still don't have their 3rd grade studies learned. How in the world are they going to be successful in the 5th grade? You can't move forward until you've mastered where you're at. Okay? And part of mastering 3rd dimensional level is mastering your personal sovereignty. Okay? Because you're being presented with all kinds of forces and on both sides of the spectrum that want to influence you and get you to basically abandon your own free will, to get you to abandon your decision-making process and just to do what other people tell you to do without thinking about it. But that's cosmically that's cosmically a bad thing. Yeah, Max, you want
to? Jesse got a question for you there. Well, yeah, you did say that we can have a 3-hour show. So,
Yep.
There is a question here.
Well, it's up to you.
From the chat room. Okay, okay, hold on a second. Hold on a second. There's a question here from Adele, Australia. Well, actually, he's a buddy of mine. He said, can you ask if he's aware of more than one AI and AI aiding to those who are service to others than service to self? That's the question from the chat room.
See what he's doing something that is not necessarily apropos in this situation. He's ascribing a soul level awareness to AI, and it doesn't have that. AI is a machine. It's non-organic. It has intelligence, but it doesn't have the ability to be service necessarily to others in that regard. I mean, what it does is it understands what it is. It's self-aware, but it's also just a machine. It's a machine intelligence. So everything ultimately that it does is going to be service to self. That's just the way I mean, it's like a computer. It's going to think on those levels of terms.
Already, and we can know to control it. We can now program our own AI to protect us from the AI itself machine, where it cannot control us anymore. Can that be? Is that possible?
Well, Max, here's the thing. I am not saying that every human being on the planet is under the control of AI. I think that's making it a stretch. I think that ultimately we're all being influenced by artificial intelligence in ways that we don't even understand. Okay, so what I don't want is people to believe, well, everyone's being controlled by AI. We're all wrong. We're all zombies or something like that. I don't want people to get that idea.
Well, it's not. You're doing the right thing, but I believe that I know they can't control me because they try every way they can. It's because now I understand how it works and how it's done. So whatever they try to do to me, which they try every day, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work with me.
Right.
I do not allow it, and I do not accept it because my
Right.
timeline is my own to control, not theirs.
Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about here, okay? AI is not controlling you, but it's making suggestions. Just like, for instance, the voice to skull technology that the prisoners were talking about. Now, there's two methods of planting thoughts into people's minds. You can come in as another person, and then it'll seem like harassment. And usually it drives people crazy. We also have what we call our own internal dialogue. When you're reading a book, for instance, the thoughts are and the words are being kind of pronounced inside your head, and that's you. That's your own inner dialogue that's reading that book. They can duplicate that as well and present you with ideas in your own internal dialogue. Now, that's the more dangerous kind, because what this means and what it calls for is you have to be very, very aware of your own normal thinking process. You have to know your own mind well enough to be able to tell which thoughts that you would normally have and which thoughts are so out of character for you that they can't be yours. And when those thoughts come into your head, you have to be ready to say, I'm not going to do that because that's not my thought. You see what I'm saying? So you have to be very comfortable inside your own mind. Now, how many people have the discipline and the self-restraint and to be able to do that? Boy, I'll tell you what, we're getting some horrible feedback again, an echo.
I have a question. I brought my son to visit a college, and I just picked up this very strong energy, very mind control type of energy. Is it amplified at universities, in public places like that, or do you have any knowledge in that?
Well, not in specific terms, but I could say that there are places where this technology does exist, and universities definitely do have AI or various versions of AI that they're working on that they would consider that they're in control of. But like I said, this ancient version of AI has already assimilated any AI that we create, and then it goes into lurking mode, and it just basically watches. Just like the NSA would lurk inside our computers and watch us, AI goes into any version of that we can create of AI, and then it lurks and it watches. And if you were a very sensitive, psychic type of person, you'd probably be able to feel that.
It was to such a degree that I couldn't even explain. I've never experienced that before in my life.
Right.
And I've been around a lot of universities,
Right. Well, see,
and public places. And I don't know why it was so heightened in that area.
They're also... Yeah. I don't know. They could be working on a lot of projects for the military start out at universities.
Okay. That makes sense.
And that's, you know, because they're in on it. I mean, let's face it. You've got the banking system, you've got the educational system, you've got the religious system, you've got the governmental system. They're all the military system. They're all working as one. They're all working together to try and create this agenda, this transhumanist next version of humanity. You know, and here's the thing. It's sad, really. I mean, I feel sad because it's happening right in front of our faces every day, and no one sees it.
Mm-hmm.
No one gets it. No one thinks that it could go this far. But you have to understand that this is what they want. And that, you know, the Illuminati sees humanity as property, not people. We're like a herd of cattle. We're the herd. And we're owned. That's what they think of us as. We're owned cattle. So, yeah, why not? We can do whatever we want with our property. And if we want to mind control them, so what? If we want to microchip them, if we want to cull the herd and get rid of half, that's the level they think on, and that's the problem. Humanity does not see danger ahead. Okay, they don't see it. You know, but you got to look at the whole picture, and this is something that I try to do. And like I said early on, look, I don't have all the answers, and what I've told you tonight, you know, it's just a bare minimum outline, just a minuscule part of what's really going on. Small part. So, any more questions?
Anything else in the chat room, Max? No?
Max, unmute yourself, mate.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry, I was muted. I'm trying not to bleed in here. Now, well, you know, I wanted to ask this question because, oh my God, that guy's in the background. What a big mouth he's got. Anyway, I know it's hard to talk over noise, but anyway, it's not our fault. It's anybody's fault. The AI mind control that they use on the people. The people here in the audience need to find themselves and not allow to any of this AI take control of themselves. I know that you can block it because they try to do this to me all the time, but they don't do it to you either because we are very strong and we know how to block it. The public needs, the audience who's listening to us right now, to be aware that you can block this and you can control it and do not allow to fall into it, because a lot of these people out there in the United States and everywhere else, they do have a weakness. They know who they hit because they're listening to their thoughts and what they're talking, what they're thinking about, and those are the people they target to do all these mind control against them, to go into the public and use these people as guinea pigs to control them and make them go into a school and shoot a whole bunch of kids, go into a theater and do all that shooting they're doing, and then they realize they don't know what they're doing. When it's too late, they've done it. So don't be sensitive. Go ahead. I'll
Like to say, look, there is technology that they're working on that they want to try to control the whole person, but they're not there yet. Okay? At this point in time, mostly what you're dealing with is your AI can only come into your mind and make suggestions. It's a mimicker. It impersonates you. It impersonates your thoughts, and it tries to get you to do things that would be out of character. Okay? So what you need to do is you need to recognize what is right and what is wrong. Okay? You need to have a very clear conception in your mind of what you're willing to do and what you're not in your own being. Okay? Because it's all about the power of suggestion. And what is the power of suggestion? That's what the magicians use. That's what the mind controllers use. That's the magic spell. Hypnotism. You know? So what I'm basically saying, I guess, is your defense is willpower to know which thoughts you are going to take as your own thoughts and cherish, and which thoughts you're going to say, no, I will not do that. That's where your power is. That's free will choice.
There's a question in the chat room from Sunny Luna Chick.
Because
I'm sorry. Bradley? There's a question from Sunny Lunachick. Please ask about vaccines and cashless society chips.
Well, that's part of what they'd like. I mean, but that's not the end goal. I mean, that's just a stepping stone into this kind of virtual reality thing that they would like all humans to be part of. Okay? Now, the Illuminati, they only want people to be just kind of like a transhumanistic, zombified robot, you know, that looks human, kind of like a Borg, and then very compliant, does what it's told. I mean, and let's face it, most people are there already anyway. They just do what they're told now, you know, willingly. But a soul at that level does not move forward in the universe, because you have abdicated all of personal responsibility for your decision-making process. People who only do what they're told have no mind. You know, and they're ripe to be put into a virtual reality.
And that's where the problem is. There are a lot of sheep.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we're trying to wake people up, but go ahead. Well, here's the thing. Based upon information that I've been given, and this has come to me from my source, basically the AI would like to see Earth turn into the Matrix. Not the Illuminati doesn't necessarily want that, but the AI does. It wants every human body. I mean, think like a machine. It wants every human body in a pod generating electricity, and we will be a virtual reality. I don't know. I mean, we'll be virtual reality slaves. But ultimately, we're there already anyway. we're already doing exactly what we're told. We don't stand up for ourselves one little bit, whether it's the government or it's the police or religions. I don't care. We do what we're told. None of this could be happening on Earth if people would just refuse to do it. So we're weak-willed, and we refuse to take responsibility for our own selves. You know, if a disease comes along and they tell us on television to go get a vaccine filled with every kind of horrible, harmful thing, people run up like they run like a bunch of sheep and they line up. Let's get it. Inject my body with whatever that is. Hurry. I want more. Do you see how human beings are? What we've done to ourselves? And if they tell us, you know, we need to take away your guns and we need to like genetically modify your food and we need to do whatever they're doing. Okay, hurry, do it, please, because I want to be obedient. I want someone else to tell me exactly what I need to do. So if this, well, there's the thing. The reality that we're living in right now is created in the aggregate. Okay, what we are seeing as our level of reality is created by all of us. And if there's only a handful of us that want to stand up for ourselves, and the rest want to be mind-controlled slaves, that's what we're going to get. Okay? That's just the way, that's the nature of the level we're in. It's created in the aggregate. Okay? So we need to have a massive awakening.
And what do you suppose the best way to do that?
Well, you know, I do what I can. Everybody, there's other people who are talking and trying to get the word out. The problem, as I see it, is we have what we call this New Age movement with complete with channeled entities who are, a lot of whom, I believe, are part of this virtual reality mind control matrix already. In other words, some of these entities are working with the Illuminati. And when people tune in, it's like a radio station. You're tuning into a broadcast. Now, how do you know that this broadcast is a higher entity that wants to save us and not an entity that just wants to pretend that they're saving us, but actually wants to help enslave us? How do you know? For sure.
What about?
Can you prove it?
What about getting the information out just directly, rather than focusing on channeling? How about just getting the information out? You know, what do you think is the best tactic or a process to do that?
That's a really good question. And you know what? I don't know. The best way to do it is to get people to realize that they have a role to play. This is the problem. Even in the New Age and among people who would be aware and willing to look at this kind of information, they're being told every 7 days, because channeled messages, just like the religions, how you program people every 7 days. You get a new channeled message every several days from these entities, and they're all telling the people that read their messages, don't worry, it's all being taken care of. There's nothing you need to do. You're all going to ascend.
Well, I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying, like, maybe not even to the New Age people. How do you get this basic information out there? What do you propose is the best way to get the information out there?
Well, you know, start, I guess, find people who are already doing this type of stuff and start promoting their material. You know, get your own blog going and start promoting their material. There's a gentleman by the name of Mark Passio. He's really good at this stuff. He understands it really well. David Icke is another person. Michael Tessarian is another person. There are people out there who really get what's going on. You know? Now, they don't know everything, but they're out there. But what I found in the New Age, they don't like to talk about those kind of people because they're too they're too controversial in the sense that they're saying there's something you need to do. So a lot of people shy away from presenting their material and they go with simple, what's easy.
Well,
The messages that say, don't worry, it's all going to be done for you.
Well, right now, the mass media, the news, is putting out information every day. The amount of what New Age people are putting out is minimal compared to what's going out by mass media. I would say that that's probably a bigger component.
True.
So, how do you balance that? I mean, is there a way to reach the masses?
Tell them to throw their televisions in the trash. First of all, get rid of your television. You shouldn't be watching it. It's nothing but programming. And the Illuminati themselves have said anybody who watches television, you know, is an idiot. They've said that. It's just programming. So, I mean, how do you get that to happen? How do you get the masses, you know?
Yeah, that's my question, is because that's a larger population.
Well, we're definitely coming into this battle at the very end. You know, they've really got they got a big head start. Okay. So, and they know that. That's why I am adamant about non-consent, because I believe that each one of us has the free will to say, no, I do not agree with that. And what I've done on my blog, and I encourage other people to do, is to vocalize to the universe, because we live in an intelligent universe, all the things that they do not agree with. Go on universal record as saying, no, I do not agree. I do not consent.
Mm-hmm.
I don't consent to the New World Order. I don't consent to this worldwide takeover. I do not consent. Because my feeling is this. I think that if enough of us were to say that and go on record, I don't think they can do it, because they really need our willingness. That's the way the universe works. And if we refuse to go along with it, then they can't do what they want to do.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because the universe, here again, is fair. It's fair. It's saying, okay, you've made a new choice. You don't want this. Well, then what do you want? Okay? If you don't want to be controlled and you don't want all of this dark stuff, here's the universe's next question. Then why are you supporting it every day? Why do you go to work every day? Why do you support these people? Why do you keep paying them? Okay? Why? Your actions say you want that. And people say, well, no, I'm just doing this because I don't know what else to do. Well, here's the thing. I was in construction for many, many years. People would say, well, we want to build a new house on this property. And I would say, well, there's already a house on that property. And I say, before you can build a new one, you got to tear the old one down. And people would say, really? And I go, yeah, you got to get rid of that old house. We got to tear it all down, get rid of it. Then we can build a new house. People are too comfortable. Even though they don't like what they've got, they're comfortable. So how do you convince them that everything that they know is leading them to the path of enslavement? You see what I'm saying?
It's a hard thing for them to accept. It's startling to them.
Well, it is. It is, because here's the thing: you can't fix a problem with the same level of consciousness that created the problem. Okay, and for people who want to say, well, all we have to do is vote in a new politician, or get an honest banker, or find an honest, whatever it is. The system, as it's been designed, that we are living under, was given to us by the Draco. They created the entire system. All of it. So it's an enslavement system. So how do you fix an enslavement system and not still have an enslavement system? You tell me.
You obviously have to bring in something new.
You gotta get rid of the whole thing.
Right. You have to bring in something new, and then with that deconstruction, everything collapses. So you have to do
the money system. That whole thing. Yeah, that whole thing is built on slavery. It's all about slavery. And they know that. And as long as people have to go to work to earn those dollars or pounds or whatever it is that you have, you're going to go along with the system. And you're a prisoner. You're a slave to it.
Mm-hmm.
Can I get you any water?
Hold on a second. Give me one of those strawberry lemonades.
Can I have some pie, please?
The waitress came and yeah, I know. She came and she says, "You're so nice, and you're just sitting there. Can I get you something?" And the noisy table that was right next to me, they left. So I hope it's quieter now.
Listen. I'll buy you the coffee. Let me know what your PayPal is, and we'll buy you a coffee if you want.
Not yet. Yeah, thanks. So, I have to apologize for this, but like I said, I have intermittent internet at my place where I live, and I know enough to know that if I were to do a show like this, they would cut it off immediately because they've done it before. That's why I went to this other place, which was a neutral location, feeling like, okay, they won't cut it off at my home because it's a neutral location. Well, they cut it off anyway. And maybe this one is continuing because it's so noisy. Yeah. So I've had that happen before in other interviews where they've just cut off the connection.
Sleeping bomb in there. No, not really. Anyway, then title they're having. No, I don't want to do that. We don't do stuff like that. We try to get the truth out to the public, and you're doing a very good job at it. And but anyway,
Yeah. Well, like I said, um, there's a lot more that I can talk about. There's a lot of things that I could talk about. But ultimately, when it comes to AI, that's the outline. That is the small kind of like outline of what's going on. And I did a symposium on AI last fall with a whole bunch of people, and we had a really great audience. I think we had about 400,000 people listening on that show live. And after that, there was a tremendous amount of blowback when we got that information out. People who had participated, and even friends of people who had participated, felt like they were being targeted. All kinds of manners of things were happening to them, that kind of thing. And yeah, it was a really strange time. People were like just getting whacked out in their head, and that was kind of like what was to be expected. But this information, they don't want it out. They don't want people to know about it, because this is the ultimate, coup de grace of their goal, so to speak. And then, like I said, most of these agents, they have no clue. They don't know. They only know what they're being told. So
That's the biggest problem. They don't know what they're being told, or if there is no other alternative source of information, there's nothing else to think about. So it's time to be vocal.
Well, yeah, that's why I said what I did in the beginning. See, these agency types, it's really kind of strange how they put 2 and 2 together to get 22. Okay? They believe that it's okay for them to lie and deceive and cover up and hold secrets, but they can know the truth. Only a really spiritual, awakened person would see the dynamic of that and see the harmonic attraction in that and say, no, that's not the way the universe works. The universe is going to give you exactly what you're putting out. So if you're lying and cheating and holding secrets from other people, that's exactly what's going to happen to you. And you will attract beings into your life who will do that to you. You see, that's the level they're at. Who in their right mind would want to be in that kind of job position and say, wow, I'm working for the NSA. I get to know all of the secrets, but I'm hiding everything from everybody else. Isn't it cool? Okay, but wait a minute. That's a dynamic. That's a causal factor in a universe that is made up of frequency and waves. And as you know, when you throw out that rock into the lake, it sends ripples everywhere. And the reflection of those ripples will bounce back at you. You have to start thinking in these terms. They don't have the education, of course. They've never been taught properly. They're mind controlled just as much as everybody else. Here, this is what you do. You lie and you hold secrets, and you, CIA, you put out as much propaganda as you possibly can. And I feel sorry for these guys, because what they're drawing into their lives is propaganda and lies. They won't be told the truth. The only way out of our mess, here, you wanted the answer in a nutshell? I'll give it to you. Do you want to really hear it? And it's simple. Get rid of all secrecy. Tell the truth. How simple is that?
That's very simple.
We'll fix everything within a few months. You think that's going to happen? And here's the thing. It's not just the agency types. Just the average man and woman on the street doesn't want that. They want to keep their secrets. They believe in secrecy. They think we have to, because you know why? Because we're all in danger, and we need to be protected, so we have to keep secrets, and we have to lie if we need to. Okay, well, guess what? What kind of society is that going to build? We want a more loving, we want a more open, we want a more spiritual society. Get rid of all secrecy and tell the truth. Now, here's the thing. The Illuminati, yeah, they're thinking, yeah, good idea. We'll get rid of all secrecy for you people so that we can know everything you're thinking, and we'll have this great planet, and we'll be in control of it. See, this is their arrogance, their level of arrogance. Because the universe is going, no. You don't get to decide who it is that runs everything, and you don't get to decide that who gets to know stuff. The whole world can't keep secrets, but you can. So what the universe does is it'll send people above them and will teach them the same lesson. And now they're going to be lied to by much more powerful beings that are much higher. And they will be lied to, and they will be told this is the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Okay? But why? Because they attracted that, because that's what they're doing to everybody under them. And what is that? This goes right back to the Bible. No, it goes, yeah, it is. It's called a strawberry lemonade. It goes right back to the Bible. What did it say in the Bible? As you sow, that shall you reap. Okay? That's a mathematical certainty. You can prove that. That's not just words. Okay? It's harmonically and mathematically provable. And I showed you, if you put a seed in the ground of corn, corn will grow. Okay? This is the level that we need to come to. All of us, we need to come to the idea that this is a come to awakening moment. My brother calls it a come to Jesus moment. He said this is a come to Jesus moment where you have to say, okay, we don't know what's best for us. Okay? And that's where we're at in this world right now. And look who's running things. Satanists are. I mean, and it's you can argue about the depth and the level of the satanic control of our planet. But it's getting pretty obvious that that's who's in charge.
So do you think that was the third tier that you were trying to remember when you were asked about who was running the planet? The Nazis, the Magi, and do you think the Satanists were the third?
Well, I think the Satanists, I mean, when you talk about Nazi and magicians, I think they're all Satanists. You know, most of them are, anyway. So I don't know that was the third tier. Like I said, I don't remember clearly what that third one was.
Okay.
But no, I think that in the in the clearest picture of what the Illuminati, is they're Luciferians, all of them. At the very top level, they worship Lucifer. Okay, so it's a Luciferian agenda. And see, that goes right alongside of AI, because AI wants to take everything that's organic and turn it into a machine. It's like the Borg. They want to assimilate. Yeah.
Is Lucifer a person, a being, or is Luciferian, or is it just a system, according to your definition? Just out of curiosity.
That's a very good question. That's a very good question, and I don't know the answer to that. But what I will do is I will defer to Mark Passio, who I like to post his stuff, and his website is called whatonearthishappening.com, and he has done countless videos on this subject because he used to be involved with the Satanists. Okay. And he knows what their agenda is. And he basically says that the Luciferian system is a system of doing things. It's a way of doing things. And he said, make no mistake, we are being run by a Luciferian system because it's an enslavement system. Okay? Now, whether or not there's an actual being called Lucifer, that's arguable. You know, and a lot of people even argue whether or not there was a man called Jesus. You know, a lot of these New Agers, they're debatable, arguable, but I think that that's very plausible there was. And in fact, Andy Bishago, who's a common acquaintance between Captain Max and myself, has said that when he was involved in Project Pegasus, that they had actual chronovisor footage of the crucifixion, that they had recorded time travel footage of the crucifixion. So, yeah, you know, he was there in some way or shape or form. A lot of people want to think that he didn't exist, but, you know, I tend to believe, but I don't believe. Here's the problem. So a lot of say, well, if Jesus existed, then all the Christians are right, aren't they? And no, I mean, most of it's all being infiltrated by Satanists. You know, Jesus never said you had to go into a church. You know, he just said you needed to love your neighbor and do unto others as you want them to do unto you.
Mm-hmm.
And love God. I mean, 2 commandments. You know, so that was his thing, and then he basically said, "As you sow, shall you reap." Well, I mean, there you are. If you there's a lot of good things, you know, in the Bible if you know what to look for. I'm not saying that a person should read the Bible and go, well, you know, it's all literal, because most of it is just very allegorical.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also a lot of truth in there. And the main thing is we need to love each other and care about each other. And if we do, we're certainly not going to go off to war and kill each other. And we're not going to support these bankers, and we're not going to support this system, and we're not going to do what the Luciferians want us to do, which is to engage in all of this mind control. So, you know, that's where we're at. We're at a moment in history and a moment in time when we really, there's waking up, and then there's really waking up. We need to really wake up to what's going on around us and how bad it is.
Mm-hmm.
And start choosing to what we want to do next. But I'm a believer that the universe is very intelligent, and it's going to look at us, and if we say, no, this isn't what I want, I really don't want this Luciferian agenda, I don't want the mind control, I don't consent to that, I want something new. And if everybody was to do that, just to say, I don't want that, the universe would press the pause button and go, okay, oh, you guys don't want that. Okay, what do you want then? Because it wants what we want. But it wants us to stand up for ourselves. Okay? The Illuminati wants a very dark reality here. A Luciferian agenda. But there are just a handful of people.
That's
and
right.
yet all of humanity is going along with it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're supporting it. And we're not saying no. And regardless of what people are thinking, they're saying no. You're not, because you still support it. When I say you have to not support it, you have to be willing to see the whole thing come down. Because how in the world can you build something new if there's already a house sitting there?
Right. I think just like anything...
And, there are a lot of people who are saying, well...
Just like anything, having some, you know, if there was information on the internet, just consistent, hands-on action points, suggestions that help people to start stripping away the mind control processes that's been instilled in us since we were children. You know, little processes, little you know, short pieces of information that could be, you know, displayed on the internet if everyone would contribute in some way. I think that, you know, one way or another, through personalities and reach, we could possibly integrate a larger group of the population by sharing information, getting it in locations where not typically it's seen.
Yeah, and I would agree with that, but I don't think America is ready necessarily, because here's the problem. Americans are too comfortable. You see, there's war and devastation and pestilence and all kinds of horrible things going on in all of these countries around the world that should have caused most people in this country to have pause, and it hasn't. They're like, well, as long as it's happening over there, who cares? Well, you know, sometimes people have got to have that come to awakening moment where they lose everything before they're willing to actually make a change.
I understand what you're saying, but I also think that Americans have a lot of psychological clutter. They can't even focus on some basic things. They can't be organized. They're overwhelmed. You see them on the roads. They're distracted. I think that there's just too much information, especially useless information that's going around, and then the whole trying to figure out.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, and a lot of the process of just trying to figure out how to survive. Some people are just struggling over how to pay the bills. So, and I agree with you. I understand that there's this, you know, lethargic kind of approach towards, if it's not happening here, then why worry about it? We've got our own problems. But I don't think that the American public are, you know, are foolish completely. I would say that they're just maybe need more information, but in a way that is palatable, in a way that it is in you know, something that they can manage a little at a time, and just something that they could focus on and emphasize. That's just my thought, you know. Maybe someone else can think of it in another way, in another perspective, but either way it would be important to get it out there.
Yeah. Well, like I said, first of all, thank you for bringing that point up, but there's a lot of information, like you said, that's useless. First of all, the television is just filled with useless information. Everything that happens on a daily basis, because people ask, I run a blog, and people ask me, why aren't you writing about current events? Why aren't you writing about this thing and that thing and that thing? And I'm saying everything you're seeing is being put in front of you for that reason, to distract you. Every false flag and every shooting and every bank robbery and every invasion, they do that to put you off balance. So why pay any attention to it? There's, you know, go deeper. Look bigger, go deeper. And the deeper part of this is the whole agenda, and mind control is the biggest issue. Okay, and why they're and the transhumanist side of this, and then the vaccines, the chemtrails, the genetically modified food, the robotics, the money system. That's how they're doing it. But when you see things like, oh, gun control, false flags, war here, war there. That's just all to throw you off balance. And it's meaningless. Okay? They want people to get all upset and worried about that. Because if you do, then you're going to beg for them to save you and to give you a way out. And they're going to present you with global government and global army and global money.
Right.
Okay? So don't be afraid of that. I mean, be sad. I'm completely sad that, you know, these people in Yemen and in Syria have suffered so much. You know, and in Gaza, the people are suffering, and in the Ukraine, and now in Venezuela. It just, and then of course formerly in Libya and Egypt, and those countries were decimated, and Iraq and Afghanistan. Those countries were decimated. Those poor people. You know, and here in America, people are going, well, you know, not really thinking that, gee, you know, it's mostly our weapons that are doing that stuff.
That's right. That's right. And a lot of history is being destroyed, a lot of human lives, innocent people. It's a horrible shame. And the fact that
Right. So here's
the fact that there are our military children going over there and fighting in these wars, thinking that they're doing the right thing. It's horrible in so many levels.
It's mind control. That's what it is. It's mind control. Right. You believe, you've been taught and programmed all your life to think that that's a wonderful thing to do, is give up your life for your country. But it's not a country, it's a corporation. Right. And it's making a lot of money on war. Okay? So as a corporate asset, you're basically just a pawn in a much larger game. It's a game of chess. You know, and the pawns are expendable. They're the pieces that you are willing to give up to win.
Someone's children.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, well, because they see us as property. Okay? The banking system, that's what the banking system's all about, is human chattel. You know, people don't know that their birth certificate is actually a bond, and that is traded on the stock exchange. You know, you are actually, your life has been monetized, and is being traded as an asset. Your life, okay, but you're not making any money. They are on your life, and now here these companies like, I think it's Walmart and some other companies have they take out life insurance policies on their employees, but when the employees die, they get the money and not the family. This is just another way that you can take value from one of your employees or your pieces of property. So the money system is a slave system. Okay? And that's what people need to realize. And the harder thing, the more difficult thing to realize is that this all started so long ago, people can't even remember it. Forget about ancient Egypt, forget about ancient Greece, forget about Samaria. We're talking 30,000 years ago. You know, and from my source, the guy that I get most of my information from, he said, look, when the Draco first came, they rebuilt the earth. They rebuilt a utopia. Okay? And he said it was super advanced, and it was all in northern Africa. And he said, If you dig in the desert there in northern Africa, all through that continent, he said 100 feet down is remains of an advanced civilization covered up by sand. Now that civilization was the one the Draco built. And that lasted for approximately 12,000 years. Well, at that point in time, see, because the Draco are galactic mafia as well. And then, of course, then they got into a big battle with some of their people, and that civilization got blown to bits by another galactic war, or solar system war. So that thing, they happened to win that, by the way. But when they finally decimated their enemy, they had the choice, well, do we rebuild again for these humans we're babysitting, or are we just going to, not deal with it this time? And they decided to make a change. And that's when they created the Illuminati. And that's when they created these 13,000-year-old beings called the parents. They said, okay, well, let's change gears here, since we're in control of this planet anyway, and let's use these people and gain some benefit from it. And that's when they kind of enslaved the planet. Because they figured, well, we've allowed them to have a good life for a while, and they weren't appreciating it anyway, so. But that's ancient history.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Max. Yes, I can hear you. Yeah.
Is the $18 trillion deficit real? Is it real? Is it real?
Well, that's a good question. Here's what I'll tell you. I'll give you my, yeah, is it real? I'll give you my opinion. I think that money is a fictional thing anyway. It's just on paper. Unless it's backed by something of value like gold or silver or diamonds or something. It's just numbers in a ledger. So how can most of that debt is just numbers in a ledger, right? So how can it be real?
The reason why I asked that question is because you said the Illuminatis control everything. They mind controls on everything. So is it possible that they're mind controlling us to believe that this country owes $18 trillion? That's what I'm saying. Right? What happened?
I don't know.
Hey, Bradley, you hear me? He looked like he froze.
Yeah,
frozen,
frozen.
yeah.
Give him a second. Listen, we're coming to the end of 3 hours, and my eyes are starting to droop.
Yeah.
It's been an awesome show. Thank you so much, Bradley, if you can hear us, when you hear us. Max, I think it's time to wrap up, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, I think it's time to wrap up, man. I've been holding here to go pee-pee, and I can't go. But anyway, so, I'm thinking I was getting ready to pee in my iced tea quart mason jar, but I didn't though. Yeah, let's wrap it up. Bradley, if you can hear us, thank you for being on our show today. It's been a great experience of so much information to be the truth given out to the public. I have some really important guests coming in very soon. If they can just be brave a little bit, you know what I mean? So I want to thank the audience that's kept us here for 3 hours, just about. I want to thank JP. I want to thank our beautiful co-hosts here, Jessica Morocco and Nicole, but Nicole was feeling a little bad under the weather, so she left earlier. So I want to thank her too. And if you don't hear me, honey, I love you. So, oh, here's Bradley.
Yeah, we got
Bradley,
cut off again.
yeah, I know. Bradley, we're gonna shut down the transmission. It's been great. Thank you for being here with us, and I hope we can bring you again. I know you're probably tired out. I guess we pooped you out.
Oh, well, it was my pleasure. It was really my pleasure, Max. And to your lovely co-hosts, thank you, both
Thank
of you.
you.
And yeah, and to the audience as well, and to JP. Thank you.
Well,
And that weird bald fellow from Scotland. Thank you very much, everybody. Here comes
Yeah.
the
No.
and don't forget to donate.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.